What's up, guys? This is the kid DZD, aka the Drink King, live from the Dungeon Palace Studios. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for checking out the tutorial. Today I have a hot one for you. I'm going to show you guys a very simple technique that I learned when I was engineering sessions a long time ago as an intern. This technique is referred to as backwards mixing. You've probably heard it before. It's a very good technique that's useful for beginners as well as advanced users. The beauty about this technique is to learn how to use your signal chain as a guide to where no matter what you put in it, you always have a sound that's very accurate and very good. This technique is used for multiple things in achieving multiple outcomes in mixing as well as mastering. I'm going to show you a simple way that you can use it for if you're dealing with drum tracks. Maybe you're in a hurry, you might be recording someone in the MPC software, or you might be trying to just get through your process very quickly to have some good sound to export out and do some other things with. Whatever the case may be, having this technique under your belt as an option will definitely enhance your arsenal in what you're doing when you're mixing your beats. Before we dive in, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell notification. That way you guys can stay up to date with videos I drop just like this. Also smash that thumbs up button if you find anything helpful or anything that you can use in this particular video. So without saying too much, let's go ahead on and take it to the MPC software. We're going to dive into a beat that I made and see if we can get this backwards mixing technique to work for us. Let's do it. Okay, my people, we are now inside of the MPC software and we have a beat that's running right now. This is a beat that I made a while back, but it's going to serve very, very well in helping us to understand this backwards mixing technique. So let's take a listen to the beat really, really quickly and we'll see what we're working with. That's the full beat. Just to break it down very, very quickly, we have a drum track that's running. This is our drum program that houses all of our drums on it. I also have a sample track here. This is a sample that I created with my synthesizers. I chopped it up and sampled it to get it to fit with the entire beat. Okay. Next track, we have a bass track that's running. Now this bass track was muted when I played the beat initially, but this is how the bass would sound in maybe like an intro or the break of the beat. I also have an 808. I have a pad sound. Nice airy pad sound. I also have a synthesizer. This is like a synth lead, and then I also have some strings to complement that. Beat sounds okay, just for something that we got up and running, added all our sounds, made sure everything was cool. But we can definitely get a little bit more clarity out of this whole entire beat. But we're going to focus on the drum track, so let's go ahead on and solo that. And then I'm going to go from the track mute screen to the program edit screen. And the reason why I go to the program edit screen when I deal with my drums is because I'm able to level the drums very, very well. What I mean by that is instead of grabbing my fader here and just leveling the drums, I can level my sounds using this level knob right here. I made a video on this explaining why I do this a long time ago and how deceiving those volume faders can be, but it's good for me to recap that right now, so I'm going to do that for you really, really quickly. I'm going to engage this EQ plugin on the track. These are a list of plugins that I have on the track, and that's going to help us with our backwards mixing. But for right now, we're going to just look at the first plugin, that EQ plugin. We're not going to do anything with it. The only thing we want to do is concern ourselves just with this level meter right here. We're going to check that out and see what happens when we run sound through it. Let's go ahead on and solo just our kick drum right here, and we're going to listen to that and watch the level meter. Our kick drum is obviously playing through this EQ plugin. Okay, now if I go here, I take that fader and I turn the volume down, look at what we have with the levels. So even though we hear no sound, we still have hot levels running through our plugin. These levels can pile up in our plugins. Next thing you know, the plugins are all kind of whack ways, and we can't get an accurate reading of what's happening with them. So let's put this volume fader back to Unity, and we're going to go to this level knob right here and watch what happens when I decrease that. We're going to play it, and then I'm going to just turn this knob down. Now you can see that our level is affected through the plugin. So the more we take this level down, that is the more this plugin will react in the manner that it should. I'm going to leave the link to that video up at the top. That way you guys can check that out in detail. You can see that old video that I made. It'll take you a bit more into why this happens. Don't blame the MPC software. All DAWs come in this fashion, ready for you to create versus ready for you to dive into the mixing like this. You just need to be aware of this. That way you can do a few things when it comes down to your levels. That helps you out. So before we start leveling, I'm going to grab my headphones. That way I can hear the same exact thing you guys are hearing. I encourage you guys to do that as well. Grab some headphones very, very quickly. That way you guys can get the best out of what this tutorial has to offer. Let's go ahead on and start leveling each of our drum sounds. Let's do it. That's about there for the kick drum. I like that level there. Let's go ahead on and hit the clap right here. That's a good level right there. Let's hit the hi-hat. Let's get this next hi-hat. I'm going to go ahead on and pan that to the left a little bit to give us some ear candy. Nice. Let's grab our next hi-hat. If you notice, I'm clicking on the pad so I can select the track up here, and then I just hit solo, and then I'm able to start working. Those hi-hat rolls, I'm going to pan to the right a little bit. That's going to serve a little bit as our ear candy. That way the sounds kind of bounce left and right whenever we're listening to the beat. Now, if you notice, we kept these levels very, very low. We have a lot of headroom that's working with our beat. But the reason why we did that is going to show itself when we get to this backwards mixing technique. Let's go ahead on and dive in. Now we have a view of our mixer, and we're going to be working with our drum track. Now, the concept of backwards mixing is simply this. We're going to set levels for plugins going from the bottom to the top. The bottom plugin is going to serve as a guide for the plugin on top of it. We know that our plugin chain goes from top to bottom, and when we put those plugins on, they affect each other as we put them on. But if you go from bottom to top, you now can have a bottom plugin, and then the plugin you put on top serves as a guide for that bottom plugin. Once you do that, then you put another one on top, and that bottom plugin now serves as a guide for the one that you have on top. So it basically guides your mix. That way you're not thinning it out. You always get an accurate depiction of what's happening with your mix, simply because you're setting those guidelines before you move forward. Backwards mixing is useful for a lot of things, but this is the concept that we're going to focus on with our drum track here, because it's going to serve us very, very well. I already have plugins that are put here. I've done that just to save us time so we don't have to go searching for them. But just picture this plugin chain would be clear, and I would be adding these sounds one by one on top of each other. Okay, so we're going to go ahead on and engage the first one, which would be the Buz Cut. That's the last plugin on our chain. Let's go ahead on and engage that one. And this is the Clipper plugin made by DMG Audio. It's a very, very useful Clipper plugin, very, very simple plugin to use. So what this is going to do is it's going to serve as our guide for what we want our other plugins to flow through. I'm going to engage this plugin, and then I'm going to bring the ceiling down and show you the crunch that it gives our drums. Let's do it. You can hear those drums crunching down very, very nicely, and it adds that distorted effect that will come through in laptop speakers, cell phone speakers, any type of low-grade speakers. You'll start to hear that crunch that comes through there. So what we're going to do is take that ceiling up a bit. Okay, we're going to do it halfway, and we're going to give ourselves enough room where the ceiling isn't much affecting the drums at this particular point. So this plugin is going to serve for just what it is, that guide. Okay, let's go to our next plugin. The IALA1. This is a plugin from the company Initial Audio, and it's just like the Waves plugin, the LA compressors. Very, very famous compressors, except this one has a little bit of distortion. It allows you to do a few things with that. That's going to give you a nice enhanced vibe. Your distortion knob is here, the harmonics knob, and then you have the input as well. You have threshold makeup. Very, very simple to operate. Very simple to get an idea of what's going on here. So this plugin right here now gives me an opportunity to shape my sound on what's going in to the Buz Cut. Let's go ahead on and do it. So let's check out what I did with it. First of all, I went on ahead and I brought the threshold up to where it will start affecting our drums. Once I did that, I took the input gain down. The reason why I did that is because I want to be able to gauge how much I want to feed to that Buz Cut compressor. Remember, our signal chain is feeding into the plugins below. So that's how I'm going to determine what goes into it. So I took it down for now. That way I can gauge how much I want to feed into that plugin. That's the concept of backwards mixing. I went on ahead and brought the makeup gain up, and now I can start hearing what this compressor is doing. I also gave that harmonic distortion to the plugin. I'm going to increase it real quick and let you hear what this does. Check it out. It's almost as if you hear that distorted effect that's happening, but it's only happening when you hear those drums hit very, very hard through the compressor. I'm going to be very sparing with that because once that compressor starts to pump and sound starts going through it, it's going to bring that distortion out more and more. We may have to adjust this later, but for right now, we'll leave it like this. I'm going to show you the power of this backwards mixing right here. Remember, this plugin is feeding into our Buz Cut. Okay, so check this out. I'm going to start to increase this input, and you're going to start to see our levels go up on the Buz Cut. Check it out. So now I can control exactly what's going into this plugin just with the input knob of the plugin that's on top. We're going to get our next plugin on top of that. This is the Luftikus EQ. This plugin is free right here. I'll go ahead on and leave a link to all of these plugins, by the way. That way you guys can go ahead on and check them out. This is a free plugin. I believe the Buz Cut is free as well. The initial audio compressor is a paid plugin, or you can use another compressor that follows the same manner if you have it. The Akai software has a compressor that you guys can use. It'll serve pretty much the same purpose. Let's go ahead on and work with this EQ right here. It works in a very, very simple fashion. We go from low over here to the high range here. Everything in between will manipulate those sounds. So let's go ahead on and see if we can get a little bit more clarity out of our drums. Let's see. We're going to use our trim knob here. Our trim knob is just the gain of what this plugin is doing. We can now feed into the compressor, which is now going to feed into the Buz Cut. Let's go. The top EQ is guided by the compressor is guided by the Buz Cut. Okay, we still have one more plugin on top. This EQ plugin will now serve as the detail of our plugin chain. We'll be able to go inside of there and make small movements. That way we can detail anything that we want happening. So let's see if we can do that. I'm also going to take a little bit of that high end sharpness off. I can gauge how much of that I want because remember, this plugin is feeding into all of the rest. So let's go on and see how if we can tailor that high end sharpness that's happening to anything that we want. Let's do it. Something like that ought to be good. You can judge this to taste however you want, whatever you want to feed into the rest of those plugins. All of your detail work you can do with this plugin. Okay, let's go ahead on and disengage the plugins again, and let's listen to it. There you have it, guys. Just another technique that you can use whenever you're making your beats or whenever you're at the ending process of your beat making creation. You can implement this type of technique to get a very, very accurate mix and also help you out to form a guide for what your plugins are doing. Remember, this is just an overall concept. This technique can be tweaked in any fashion you want. That way it can work for you inside of your DAW and whatever project that you're working on. I focus mainly on just the drum sounds. If you guys want to see how I would mix the bass, the 808 to get them to fit in something like this, and also bring a few techniques to you with those type of sounds, then make sure you drop that comment below. If I see enough of them, I'll go ahead on and make a follow-up tutorial to this video. That way you guys can check that out. Hopefully that'll benefit you as well. Remember, if you guys want to connect with me in any way, the best place to do that is on Instagram. Make sure you guys drop me a follow at the Drink Kang. Shoot me a DM, and I promise I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning into the video. Make sure you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll check you in the next video. Peace.